come on. We got the boys in the house. About to record it.
Ready, boys?
It's officially Manly versus Cronulla, so
Yes.
let's get it done.
Come on.
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northern Beaches #1 podcast. You're listening to The Whip. My name's Zach, here again with, of course, my brilliant co-host, Elliot.
Sure.
And today we've gone on a massive journey, a long quest, and we've arrived and found ourselves in Cronulla at our good friend Brenton's humble abode. Brenton Parks, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. What do you think of Cronulla, by the way?
It's a how close are you? Like, do you and Cronulla go for dinner a lot, or you're indifferent?
I've just bought Cronulla lingerie on Tuesday, so we're ready to go. This is a sexy place.
So it's been great.
It's been honestly, like, this place should get an award.
Oh, thank you. No, I'll tell my wife. Yeah.
Is she indifferent? Is your wife indifferent?
No, she loves it. I have no idea what she's done. She's kind of just furnished the whole place. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It looks good.
That
I
is.
love the vibe. It reminds me of like how people would furnish a house if they were selling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Manly's still better than Cronulla if we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get on to it.
So Brenton, we met quite a few years ago at C3 Oxford Falls, where we were. You came with Pastor James Murray. We were doing a youth thing, and then since then you've gone on to do a lot of things. You've been on Big Brother, launched a few businesses. You're running your DJ Platinum services. But who is Brenton Parks?
Wow. What an intro. Look, I'm just a bloke from Cronulla. I've definitely launched a few businesses. I'm just trying to think when that, because that was a few years ago. I think prior to us meeting, I launched many businesses.
Or even more before that.
Yeah, but they all failed. Like, they all just kind of imploded. It's only recently finally finding a bit of success with, the massage gun, obviously the DJ services, things are kicking off. And I've actually found, because you might be thinking, why now? Why are they succeeding now? I think it's because I'm not corrupt and I don't take advantage of people anymore. Oh, bro. Serious, there was some bad, what's the age demographic?
The vending
here?
machine?
Yeah, mate, there was some, the vending machine. But there was speaking of Sharks and Manly, like, I used to work at Shark Park up on the, I shouldn't say this, but like, I was serving drinks, and again, this is before Christ, and came into my life. And I used to serve drinks on this balcony to all these charities would come up with buckets and come up to all the the guests and say, hey, this is for breast cancer, this is for the children of etc. And I was like, man, these guys are literally making thousands of dollars per game. Like, I could do that. I didn't have connections with people with illnesses or kids with this, but I had a fund of, I wanted to get heaps of mad Christmas presents. So I would literally, this is so bad, but I would walk around trying to get money for my own charity, which was me. It was so bad. I was like, I didn't have conviction back then. Like, this is not.
You were the red bucket.
Yeah, literally, I was walking around like, it was bad, man.
It's like a GoFundMe.
Yeah, for me. Yeah. Go fund me. Like, come on, what do we got?
Literally.
I feel like that's always been everyone's dream when they see the red bucket people walking around. Like, imagine if I just did it myself.
Yeah, literally.
Did you make up an illness for yourself, or?
I think at the start I was trying to be, funny and have little. I was saying like, my soccer club could. We needed new balls and new. We didn't have any money. We wanted to play. We were playing on the dirt, on the asphalt. I was doing all this, and then I was like, look, it's just I just need money. Like, I'm going for a hard time. People would actually, because they're drunk, they just give you $10, $20 here and there. I mean,
imagine.
Confidence is key. But there's definitely conviction now. I can't do any of that. I had to repent. So, but like, anyway, many stories of that, which we don't have to talk about today.
Well, I mean, if you want to, but we won't get into it.
Yeah.
And so now you've said the businesses tend to be flourishing because you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Which ones are flourishing? What does that look like?
Yeah. So we've got a couple of. I got a service business and a product business. The product, we've got a board game. I got a massage gun. And then the services, we've got the DJ services. So obviously, when I saw you last, I was DJing a wedding. We do a bunch of those all over Sydney. It's kicking off in Melbourne now, which is good.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah,
well done.
Thank you. But mate, the DJs in Melbourne charge me a fortune. I don't know what's going on down there, but they take me for a ride, I swear.
That's probably because they've got twice the nightlife we do here, right?
Yeah, there's not much going on here in Sydney.
Nah, not anymore. In terms of is it clubs down there, or is it more events, or a bit of both?
Everything. They got clubs. They're doing weddings. I mean, what do we got here? There's, I don't know. There's
the city and that's it.
Yeah.
Wedding or two.
Our city compared, you were just there. Our city compared to Melbourne is like nightlife wise, absolutely nothing. So
there's nothing. We got a couple of pubs and a newsagent. Like it's not really. We don't really have anything.
But we have the NRL, and that's something.
Yeah, exactly. Not that I want to do much, mate. But and then you're also an actor as well. So you've just launched your own YouTube series where you're trying to get on Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I was actually because I was on. You boys don't have TikTok, do you?
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I do.
It's disgusting.
Get caught in a few holes.
Oh, it's a vortex. It's disgusting.
It's a hangover cure. That's what I call it.
I love it so much. But no, I was scrolling on TikTok one day, and I don't know if you saw this. Was this young kid in America? He was trying to turn a penny into a house.
Oh yeah.
I've seen stuff like
There's lots
that
of those ones coming on. Yeah.
But it just it inspired me because I've always wanted to create my own content, especially because in the acting world, it's extremely inconsistent. If you're not a big name, you know what I mean? Like people aren't reaching out to you.
Yeah.
Like it's hard.
It's tough work.
You know, especially here in Australia right now. So I wanted to create my own show. But then it's like not just for YouTube or not just for, my social media, like to actually go for the big dog, like go for Netflix. And I was inspired by this kid on TikTok because he's like, I'm going to turn this penny into a house. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, how you going to, I watched, man, he had like 20 episodes. He ended up getting the house by the end of it, but he essentially wanted to turn this penny into a stick of gum, turn the stick of gum into a Macca's toy into whatever. And it kept accumulating more value. He ended up getting like a jet ski into a boat, and it kept going more and more. And, he wanted to give the house to a girl of need, and it was a sweet story in the end. But he actually did it, and he did it because of the power of social media. These videos online on TikTok were blowing up, and people were like, man, I want to see this kid's dream come true. Some people were like, I want to help him out. People were donating, a boat or whatever, because they're like, I want this thing to
kick off. Yeah, for sure.
So in the same way, I've done this thing where I'm like, all right, let's see if we can get a YouTube comedy series on Netflix Australia. So we'll see how we go. So we've literally put it all out there. They're all out there in the world now, and I'm just relying on prayer and the power of social media for this thing to blow up.
Shout out to our mutual friend Elijah that started us off as well.
Come on, Elijah.
He's actually our outro song, his music.
Yeah, he's actually...
He was singing? Or?
Yeah, he used to rap.
He's actually an amazing singer, but then
Really?
he got sick of doing all the folk guitar stuff, which he's an absolute weapon at, and started rapping.
No way.
It is. But just speaking on that show, I think there was and this was, I'm talking I was in year 10 or something, and I stumbled across, and this will give you a lot of confidence, I stumbled across this Facebook thing, and it started as 4 of them, and they would mimic working in a retail store in New Zealand. I think it was New Zealand. And now I think it was 2022, their show is actually on Amazon Prime, and they have a full cast and everything. I'll have to try get the name for you. But yeah, they started off 4 of them. I think it's New Zealand. And they were just and same kind of thing. They just started off, they wanted to make their own content, and they just basically caught a storm in terms of opportunistic. So when COVID happened and everyone was stealing toilet paper, and then they did that, and then they had a video that blew up from there.
Seriously?
Yeah. So it's just...
Mate, TikTok in itself, there is dancers, magicians, there is people that are Beth was watching the Kardashians the other day, and it had these TikTok stars in it, in this massive, there's millions of people watching this, and they've gone from TikTok to the Kardashians. That's not my end goal. But you know what I mean? The power of social media is crazy. So why not ride the wave? Try and
100%.
Play the game, take advantage of it, and see where we go.
Where did the idea initially come from? Besides, what actually made you want to take the leap and do it?
The first kind of kick in the butt was my acting career is very inconsistent. I got to do a sweet little movie last year, and then I did a guest appearance in a Stan series. But 2 gigs, and there was another little part. So it's 3 little gigs in a whole year. Maybe that's more than some, but for me, it's man, I want to be doing it full time. I got to get my face out there. And so there was the big kind of fire to go, all right, I can't just keep sitting around waiting for the phone to ring, waiting for auditions. I got to create my own thing. So I'd noticed on my social media during COVID that I was doing all these silly skits, and they're blowing up online just with
It was so good. I remember watching them in lockdown.
Yeah, like, they were just stupid. Like, again, I had the time. They were just stupid. It was my kind of humor, and it was just essentially two characters, a tradie and a wannabe entrepreneur. And they would just, butt heads, and he was just this crazy trying to take over the world, all this bad kind of...
Minor vapes.
Yeah.
Vaping,
like,
I'm an entrepreneur.
One of my favourite ones.
yeah. And I was like, far out. Like, I wonder if I could do a spin-off of this. And so I guess that's what I, chose. And to see the fruit of it now, like people just laughing. And I said to someone the other day, look, my kind of funny isn't going to be everyone's kind of funny.
No, definitely.
I get that. Like, there's stuff on Netflix that people love. And I'm like, this isn't funny. So I accept that. Like, I'm just going to put what I think's funny out there, and, hopefully attract my crowd.
Well, trust me, we've got enough TikTok comments to know that humor is subjective. It's a cruel world.
Who's the funny one out of you guys?
Elliot's the funny one.
Wow.
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 I think it depends on the situation. Like, I think I would offend more people for sure.
That kind of funny,
Yeah, well, that's funny to me.
Yeah.
So,
People,
as long as,
pain.
as long as legality, and no one goes home crying.
Yeah.
Like, because I like getting the piss taken out of me.
Yeah.
Then, like, I like doing it back too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it depends on it. Depends on what it is,
Yeah.
essentially. Like,
So-
it makes my favorite comedian is Ricky Gervais. So there you go.
Yeah, right.
So
Very naughty.
I like that stuff. So I guess it does depend on the situation. But what have you found has been like your biggest, I guess, headache starting this off? Like, was there anything you didn't anticipate before the day you're in there? Like, with this for us, I thought it was going to be a breeze. I was like, get up there, talk for half an hour, go home, and like you saw earlier, forgot a headphone jack. So was there anything you kind of didn't anticipate before going in?
Yeah, well, the other thing why I am playing a lot of the characters in this is because I was getting sick of just waiting around for other people.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. It's not to say that's a bad thing, but it's so freeing to just go, all right, I'm playing both characters in this scene. I don't have to wait on people, wait for makeup to be done, work around people's schedule. Again, all normal things, but it was just so cool to just do it in my own time. So in the same way, it got to a bit throughout the season where I'm like, all right, it's going to be boring if it's just me. I need to invite other actors and get people involved. So I guess just the headache of, as you guys know, like just people pulling out, being unreliable, people getting sick, again, just all normal stuff. Even because I never had a budget for this thing. So trying to rely on, trying to rely on people to, how much can you push people to?
Can you help me for this?
Yeah. Like I had this one woman, she was so good, and I was like, I got to get her back for another episode. And calling her, she's not from my area, so calling her up, I was like, hey, you were so good. You sweet to do it, like jump in and for another day. She's like, I guess. And then there was another day. I'm like, come on, one more day.
Yeah.
How far can you drag the favors? So it was just challenges like that. Again, like even starting out, like because we've never done this before. Like I know you guys could relate. We were doing these scenes at the front door here, and you've got cars driving past. You've got terrible lighting right there in that exit. We didn't think about this stuff because I'm thinking about the writing and the acting. My mate who's filming is just thinking about press and record, like, you know what I mean? We're not thinking about... So then we send it to our mate Elijah to edit it. He's like, the audio's... I can't even see one of you.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to like refilm.
Yeah.
So you're sweet to just like make that work. He's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So by the end of it, you see the production quality's hectic, like on that last episode. So far, you learn so quick on the go.
The funniest one was when we went to Parliament House. We were taking photos for like to promote the podcast and stuff. Remember those guys walking past? Like we're mid filming for like a Manscaped thing, and they're like, "What are you guys filming?" And we're like, "Oh, it's for a podcast." They were like, "What's it called?" And we were like, "The Whip." And he was like, "Oh," and I just kept walking. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, no, it's I definitely didn't anticipate, like even for this, like having to get everything right just sucks, essentially.
And how do you fit it all in? So you're running the multiple businesses and you were shooting the side thing and you're a dad.
Yeah.
That's pride.
I was plenty of times I left my kid in the car or at the park, but just
Window
joking.
cracked.
Yeah. But I actually locked him in the car twice recently. It was so, but like, my car's a bit old, so it's not like, it doesn't have the button on the handle. So if I leave the keys, because I always leave my keys in the car, I shouldn't say that. I do. And if I leave them in...
Save this address.
Yeah. If I leave it in the car and then as I'm getting out, I don't know why I do this often, but I accidentally click the lock button and then jump out, shut the door, and I'm like, now I'm going to get my son out of the back seat and everything's locked. I'm like, you're kidding. Like, we were down the coast literally last week, hot day. Luckily, I parked in the shade, and I did that. Like, I locked him in. I'm just like, my wife's stressing out, and we're like at Lake Conjola. There's no like NRMA like around the corner. We're just like, so one of my mates, I got a coat hanger. We got like a fishing hook and like, zip tied a thing, and we're trying to like wedge open with the door, stop at the door a little bit to like. And I'm trying to tell my son, like, grab the handle. And he's not even 2. So he's like, what are you talking about? I'm hot. And I'm like, it was so bad. Yeah, he passed out. But no, I'm joking. We got him out. It was sweet.
He's dead.
No, he's all right. He's all right. He still resents me, but he's sweet.
So I guess Beth, your beautiful partner.
Yeah.
Can you, I listened to it, the story of how you two met and how you thought she may or may not have been an elderly lady?
Yeah. Because she just hit me up on Instagram. I go to church here in California, and she's from Canberra, glorious Canberra, and she saw I go to church here. She was up here for the Raiders grand final a couple of years back, and she DM'd me, and she's like, "Hey, I saw you go to church. Can I join you?" And I remember saying to my housemate at the time, I was like, because like it was in, there's like DMs, but then there's like requests.
Message request.
Now, the thing about where we differ is you look at yourself in the mirror, we look at ourselves. We're the ones going into the DMs, not getting them. So we're not the ones getting them. So,
I can see that.
So whilst I would love to know what you're talking about, as a trusted friend and colleague, I can't say I do.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I've blocked you, so I haven't seen your messages yet. But
I'm good at fake accounts.
Yeah. Great, is that you? So, I don't usually like, because it's just people trying to say, like, they're all scammed. But she said, as soon as she said, can I come to church with you? I was like, oh, this is awesome. I clicked on a page, and like, I don't mean to sound superficial, but like she had like, 80 followers or 100, like, and then it was on private, like, it just looked like a bot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, this isn't a real, and in her little, because you can see her little circle picture, you can't zoom in, but it looked like a grandma because she had big sunnies, she was a bit small in a distant. And I said to my housemate, I was like, this little grandma wants to, like, how cute's this? Like, get coffee before church. I was like, should I go? And he's like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'll go get coffee with her. Like, come on, she could come to church. Like, yeah, whatever. So I applied. I was like, yep, this is the church address. I'll meet you, an hour before the service at the coffee shop across the road. So the morning of, go to the coffee shop, stand in there. I was a little bit early, and I'm looking around like, grandma's not actually there. There was like a couple there. There was a, gym fitness group. There was a young, cute girl over there, and I'm standing there, and I just hear Brenton. I was like, what's that? Like, Brenton, the young cute girl. I'm like, hey, how's it going? She's like, I'm Beth. I'm like, no. I thought it was going to be like wheelchair. Like, she's this, like, she was looking smoking, leather jacket, blonde bob. I was like, man, I was sat down. I told her to her face, I'm like, I thought you were a grandma. She's like, what? I'm like, no, I thought you, before we met, like, you look good now. And far out. We went to the service. I said to all my mates, I'm like, I'm going to marry this chick. So I wasn't looking to get married, but I was like, she was honestly, when like, honestly, and by the way, we ended up getting married, which was good. But
I'm really happy you didn't say, and then I met my wife.
And then I saw the barista, and I was like, damn. No. Yeah, it was crazy, man. But like, honestly, when like, maybe, I guess that's not the case with everyone, but like 3 months later, I proposed. 6 months later, we were married. 9 months later, we had a baby. 2 weeks later, locked him in the car. So
3 months divorce for killing the child. So you do obviously have a beautiful baby. What's worse, running all your... No, not worse, actually.
What's worse, trying to keep a child alive, or...
Choice of words. You should have seen my grandma's funeral. What's harder, running all the businesses, all the years of grinding, or the first 2 years of being a dad?
Oh, mate, Because that's the thing, like when you have, and you I guess you hear this or it makes sense, but once you start having, family, like a kid and stuff, you kind of realize what's important. And all this superficial stuff of like running a business and trying to take over the world or make all this money, it's fun. And like obviously you can use it for good, but you can't take any of this to heaven. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
once you have a baby and you see someone that just like relies on you, laughs at you, loves you, like last night he woke up and he like came into bed with us, which I hate, but he was just like, he wouldn't go to sleep and he started like kissing us on the cheek, which like, he's not like heaps affectionate. So I was just like, I'm 3 a.m., I'm so tired. He's like kissing us on the cheek. He's like, mommy kiss, ma, daddy kiss, ma. And I was like, go to sleep or you're getting back in the car. But it was just like the cutest moment. I was just like, stuff like this, like you just don't care about business. You just don't care about TV. I love it, but like this is the stuff that's real. Of course. This is the stuff that matters.
Is it just like a huge? Because I like can't even imagine someone who like kind of looks like. I mean, I hope it looks like my girlfriend. Jeez Louise, but like someone who looks like just up staring at you. Like, what was like the initial, couple months when you've got the child and you're just like trying to like because you're not a super older guy. You know what I mean? Like if you don't mind me asking, like, what is your age?
16.
16. Sweet. That's why you're on the podcast.
Yeah. No, 27. I'm almost 28.
So you know what I mean? So like I'm 25 and I'm still figuring my shit out. And you were sorry for swearing. You were my age when you had the kid. So like, I guess like how did it just, I guess how much faith do you have in God? And then also how much did you just have to figure out and get your stuff together quickly? Yeah.
My biggest thing is like, people think, if we get married, then it'll all start to work out. I've got mates that are boyfriend, girlfriend. They're like, maybe I'll just propose and it'll just, it's like, that's not the case. Like if anything, marriage highlights everything. It highlights who you are, what you like. And then kids is just that next level, as you can imagine. So I would say to anyone, like, make sure, like, you're never going to be figured out. You're never going to be perfect or where you want to, you know what I mean? But make sure you've got those foundations. So me as Christian, it's like, everything I have, all my values are in God, in the Bible. So it's like, for me, I'm like, I'm not going to go and like, I want to get my wife sorted. Like I want to, we're going to get married. Like I'm not going to have kids earlier and then, do all that. I get my wife sorted, then we find out like who we are as a marriage. And then later on, we're going to try for children and stuff like that. So there's a lot of trust in God that he's designed it that way. So we're not just winging it. So when the baby pops out and you're like, oh shoot, I've never done this before. It's like, nah, like this is how we're designed. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to put things into practice. And then you get a really good wife that pretty much does everything for you.
Yeah, sweet.
But, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get you for sure.
Yeah.
And then I guess because we're listening to an old podcast and I won't get into too much because I want to be a bit different, but you didn't speak to your family for a while. I guess you weren't kind of super, I don't know, like talking from your perspective, but super happy and you went back into your faith a lot more. What do you think your life would have been like now if you hadn't, done that acceptance? Because I'm not a religious person, so this is just me trying to figure these things out. So how would your life be different?
Well, I never knew God. Like, I grew up just watching The Simpsons, seeing it's all, So I've only been, Christian for 7 years. So, I had a bit of a falling out with my family and I just essentially left for 2 years, like blocked them all and just wanted to, run away, just do life without them. And I was offended. And, it was only, I was doing a movie and the director and writer, they're Christian and they're so cool. Like a footy fan, his name is Jason Stevens. He used to play for Cronulla, played for St. George. So he's like a real cool, like big dude. He's not like a nerdy kind of like, your typical writer or like, he's like a cool dude. And I wanted to get to know him. I had a lot of trust for him. And we finished the movie and he just saw me reading. I was just searching at the time. I was young and he saw me reading like a spiritual book just in the cafe. And he's like, oh, mate, you should come to church with us. And I was like, oh, yeah, one day, come down to your cult, whatever. and sure enough, he texted me Saturday night. He's like, I'll pick you up at 8. I'm like, all right, I'm going to church. And, I went down, man, and the coffee was good. The people were nice. Like, everything was fine. There was no, like, I left my wallet in the car because, I've heard some dodgy stories. Like, and that's a stupid thing, all these preconceived ideas about church. But, everything was fine. But it wasn't until they started playing the worship music, all the singing. I remember standing there, people had their hands in the air, and it was a dark space and cool light, like whatever. I was just observing, but I was kind of thinking like, man, I don't know who anyone is. I don't know what we're singing, who we're singing to, but I just like felt so peaceful in that moment. And I just remember I started to tear up, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I had no idea, but I was like, you feel this like sensation of like, I didn't know what it was. And I said to the pastor after, because he's like, well, what'd you think? And I was like, yeah, you did great. But what was that feeling I got in the music? And he's like, and he knew what I was talking about, but he goes, it was the presence of God. I was like, what are you talking about? The presence of, I can't see God. And he's like, it was the presence of God. I came back every Sunday, man, and just chasing that feeling, which is silly, but that's just what I was doing.
Yeah.
And, I just decided to go all in, man. I was like, I wanted to get rid of all these old ways. Like, because, bro, I was so unfigured out. Not that I'm figured out now or anything, but I had so much discontent, so much confusion, so much. And I was like sick of living like that. And, the thought of like this higher power, this God that essentially created you, that wants to give you a plan and a purpose. I was like, I'll submit to that. I'll 100% surrender to that. Like, it's a no-brainer. And as soon as I did, because, bro, you see so many lukewarm Christians or people that, should I go all in, be inconsistent, whether it's church or whatever, they're still inconsistent in their life. But the people I've witnessed with my eyes go all in, their life has completely changed. Not to say their life's perfect, not to say bad things don't happen, but when the storms come, when the waves hit, they're peaceful. They're content. They have a purpose. They're not greedy. They have hope. They're like, do you know what I mean? Like, you see this with your own eyes, and it's just like, I don't have to be convinced anymore. I see it every day. And
I'm going to put my hand up, ignorant. But do you think part of that is because they know they have someone to talk to, that they're not putting their shit on? I guess kind of like ignorant, kind of like a therapist for them.
Yeah, I used to think the same thing. I used to think like, oh yeah, maybe that's why you're so peaceful, because you think there'll be a heaven after this, and you think all these things. But when you start to like witness crazy stuff, like I prayed, and I'm not saying this will happen to everyone. All I wanted to do is get on Home and Away for years. I know it's a weird specific, but that's just what I wanted. Like all
more of a neighbours guy, but you do.
Sorry to hear that, yeah. But I remember praying. I first came to Christ, and I remember praying like, man, I just want to get on Home and Away. I didn't even know what prayer was. I prayed that week. I landed a job on Home and Away, acting on it. I didn't even audition for it. I didn't even have an acting agent to get me in. Like, it just landed on my plate 4 days later. Last year there was a woman in our church with like immediate stage 4 cancer. I can't remember where. Stage 4 cancer. I remember getting up on the stage. We prayed as a congregation that this will leave her body. That Tuesday she goes in for her all the stuff, radiation she had to get done. The doctor's like, it's gone. On Tuesday.
Miracles.
Like crazy. So when you start to witness this stuff, because I know what you mean. Like, I get it. Like, I was a bit ignorant. I was like, oh yeah, it could be
ignorant as
Yeah, I totally get that. But once you start experiencing stuff like that, you're like, nah, this is legit. Like, this is like crazy. Like, families being reunited. Like, people like, mate, like one of my best mates, like, they gave birth, and the baby a few weeks later turned blue, stopped breathing. Yeah. Like, in the backseat of the car, they pulled over and they're like he's gonna die. He sent a text through to our men's group and like, pray now. Didn't even need to say, like, just pray. All the boys praying. They rushed to hospital. The hospital didn't have to do. He just completely got healed and was like fully back. My other mate Josh, his wife was giving birth. There was like a code red. I don't know about like when they give. I don't know what the things are. Code red. Button gets pushed in the room. Doctors come screaming, flying in. Like, mate, we're gonna, like, something bad's gonna happen. Same thing. It sounds like crazy that you get your phone out, but he texted the boys group, pray now. We all knew that she was in labour because whatever. Everyone praying completely. Blood stopped. Everything just. So you witness stuff like this, and you're like, you can't be talking.
Got to make sense of it. Yeah. Essentially, like, there's got to be something. Not necessarily make sense.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy.
Is that like same as you?
What do you mean?
Like, same kind of experience? Like, you've just seen stuff and just gone.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to like articulate it and explain to people sometimes what it's like.
Me.
But what did that presence feel like for you that first time? Yeah.
It was like, it's one of those things, The thing is, so the devil is the biggest counterfeit, like he rips off, right? So when people are like, mate, I did 21 years without knowing God. I thought I knew what peace was. I've listened to every Jack Johnson album. I've been super chill. I was smoking cigars. I've been in hammocks. Like I knew what peace was.
That's so good.
So it's like I knew what peace was. And when you get the peace of God, because Jesus calls himself, I'm the Prince of Peace. When you have the peace of God, you're like, you look back at the peace that you used to have, and you're like, mate, that wasn't peace. I was just chilled out for 10 minutes. When you have that peace, that like when storms hit, you're like, I don't care.
I've got that.
The joy of the Lord. Like I've DJ'd some of the biggest. I've DJ'd, this 10,000 person festival. Like the feeling when you're on stage and you're like, whoa, that electric, people like. I thought I've experienced joy. When you experience the joy of the Lord, you come into a church service and people are praising God, and the one that laid down his life for you is giving you a plan, a purpose, and taking away the pain. Like that joy, you look back at the old joy and you're like, man, that was counterfeit.
Yeah, nothing.
You know what I mean? So I guess like to answer like that feeling, it's hard to explain unless you've
felt it.
Unless you've felt it. I can do my best to say, the ultimate peace, the ultimate joy, the ultimate love. You can try and imagine that, but until you've tasted that.
Yeah. I don't understand, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. A lot of repenting to do first.
Yeah. For myself as well. So I still love God, but I found myself not really being as involved as I was before. Yeah. Like I've not been reading the Bible as much, haven't been praying, haven't really been living the life. What I struggled was for me in my life is that I hadn't really seen people that were living the full Christian lives and their lives to me didn't seem appealing at the end. So that the church that I have been going to, everyone that is in church, everyone that loves God, they're all people that I'm like, I don't want that life. So it's been super nice seeing you and having this conversation today and seeing like, it's actually, you can live an awesome life as a Christian, which I've been really struggling to see. What would you, for you, what has been like, so you said you got that nice men's group, like, what would you say to someone that doesn't have that strong Christian role model in their life?
Yeah, well, like the thing is like, no one's going to be like looking at the Bible. Oh, maybe you can, help me answer this. No one looks at the Bible like, Jesus is trying to help people. People are trying to be generous. People are trying to heal. People are trying to give hope. There's so many good things. Like people like all the time say, I don't believe what you believe. That's fine. But no one's ever said like, I don't like your values. Because like the values are good. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're good values. Like lay down your life for, but like they're good values. But so you can like try and do, I guess, life without God. You can get your own men's group and, talk about whatever your feelings and stuff. You can do all these things and it can be good. Of course, like people still live good life without God. But it's only until you actually like surrender to him that it's like it goes next level. And I'm not sitting here from someone that's grown up with faith and I'm like, it's the only thing I've ever known. Mate, I did over 20 years without God. I looked into every religion. I've looked into every yoga pose. I've looked into I've worshipped all sorts of stuff, worshipped myself, you know what I mean? Until you're like, you see your savior and you're like, this is like a hectic way to live. Like, and then, like I said, you see lives change and you're like, I can't be talked out of this.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, like the perception of religion, I guess, for some people is, like, I feel like you got a vibe as well. Like, for example, like you don't seem like a super, like if I saw you walking down the street, I wouldn't assume that you're super, like no one would, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't assume the same thing about you. So I guess you just got to try find people like your age who you can talk shit with, and then, I don't know, this is a non-religious guy giving information, but like, I guess that's one of those things. Like for me personally, like when we did religion at school, like it was, if I was around people that weren't religious, like why would I, you know what I mean?
It's a bit boring at school. Like maybe people have had Catholic church experiences. Yeah. Maybe people think that it's just going to be a bunch of Ned Flanders.
Well, that's my grandma. So that was my religious experience. Yeah. She found out I got a tattoo and almost passed out. So yeah,
you get that. But like you look at, Justin Bieber, like, one of my favorite actors, Chris Pratt from Jurassic World. Like there's so many cool, not that we should make it about being cool and stuff.
No,
but
I get your point. Like Bieber's a good one. Like Bieber's a good one.
Bieber's got Kanye for a little bit. I don't know what he's doing now. I still love him. But you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like, it's like down here, we had this protein shop. Like I went, they made the best protein smoothies ever. And they were running for like 10 years. And then all of a sudden, everyone found out this guy was like, mate, taking advantage of girls, dealing drugs from the store, like doing all this like bad stuff. And he went to jail for like, I don't know, 6 years or something, or 8 years. And it's like, if I had based, my protein, it sounds so silly, but if I'm I'm never going to go to a protein shop again, because he would tell me so much stuff about protein powder. Imagine if I'm like, nah, it was all a lie. I'm never going to have protein again. I'm never going to go to a shop again. Imagine if I was like that. But you can't base you off one experience. So people come to my church and they're like, oh, yeah, but this happened at that church, or I've heard this in the media. It's like, well, that's like, I'm not going to say that's, didn't happen. Like, sure, maybe something bad happened, but like, that's not, you can't put a blanket over all churches.
100%. That's what my point was, like, ignorance is bliss. Like, my version of Christianity is my darling grandma yelling at me about Catholics and having tattoos. So, I guess that's it.
Yeah, I got some tats as well.
Yeah, how does, does that fly? Is that allowed? I was like, ignorant. So you got to forgive me.
Yeah.
You're going to have to forgive me. But that's cool. That's good to know. I guess I also, like, from my perspective as well, haven't had that like WTF moment, heard like a song. Because I actually, my house actually backs onto a church. So, yeah, it would be convenient. But unfortunately, I haven't found the faith yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, man, like it says in the book of Revelation that Jesus is knocking on the doors of our heart. So he's always trying to get our attention. He's always trying to woo us. But it's not until we open the door that he's going to come in and dine with us.
Yeah.
So he's never going to barge himself or force his way into your life. It's only until we were like, you know what? Because it's almost like the door handle's on our side because he's not going to. So it's almost like you invite him in. You're like, all right, Lord, are you real? You know what I mean? It's not that we should. I'm saying you should speak to him like that. But seriously, if you're at that point where you're like, are you legit? Like, is this real? Like, I've seen it with some of my mates. They're like, what's going on? And God just shows up in crazy ways, different ways. So, yeah, try it, man.
Maybe one day.
Guarantees you eternal life in heaven. All you have to do is repent and follow him. Yeah. There's no works. There's no like, I hope I get. It's just, you just repent, believe that he's the Son of God, and follow him.
Yeah.
So it's like, as a businessman, I'm like, sweet, I'm guaranteed in heaven. And if all this is fake, if all this is a waste of time, if all this isn't real, I've still lived the best
good life. Which is the argument I F with.
Yeah.
Try not to swear with guests on. I've got a bad mouth. But yeah.
That's really well put. Yeah.
That's very well put. Yeah, that's a good argument, actually.
I feel like it's a no-brainer. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing the doctor on something about something's happened to my rib. We've been talking about God. If it's something life-threatening and I pray and I survive, I will convert.
Wow.
On the table. Right there.
Come on.
And I'll repent.
But it has to be life-threatening, or what if it's just fixed?
Oh, then we'll see how we go. I guess moving on, what's some of like your interests? Are you working on any cool new projects apart from the YouTube or the DJ business? Is there anything else you can give us a sneak peek into at the moment? In the workforce. Sorry, in the weirdest transition in the history of podcasts.
Yeah, speaking of eternity, what do you got coming up?
Yeah.
Look, I'm doing a show this year, 2024. Doing a show this year. It's a female-led, cast. I'm not sure if it will be with Netflix or Prime yet, but I'm the boyfriend of one of the leads. It's going to be big. They got two. I still can't say who the leads are. Big American actress, big UK actress. Okay. But that's going to be a really big show this year, which we'll start filming. It's like a mini series, maybe 10 episodes. So that'll be cool. But I'm just trying to get my show off the ground.
100%.
Biggest prayer is to get this on Netflix. So, I was saying before, I had this, awesome meeting on Christmas Eve with a production house. So who know Netflix. So that's the goal here to get this up. I know it's funny. I know it's got legs. Let's just see if it's Netflix worthy.
Is this networking or is this messaging? Because I was saying earlier, our DMs are like a 16-year-old on Tinder, disgusting. Like just constantly trying to reach out to people, not really getting replies. So like, how do you like get in contact with these people? Is it all just networking through past experiences? Is it, content out there, word of mouth? Like,
I'd say it's got to be networking because I've personally, reached out to people from Netflix on Instagram and stuff. No one reads your messages, you know what I mean? Like DMs are so hard. But yeah, just like you just start meeting people in the industry. Like that's always the best. When someone like, say, hey, this guy, you should talk to him. Like when someone's, lifting up your name to other people, that's always the best way to go.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I wanted to touch on as well, you finished an interview last year, which really hit me and stuck with me when you talked about that your purpose in life, and you just phrased it so perfectly, was to serve. How's that looking?
Yeah, well, I guess that comes back to, what we touched on before, because it's like, for 21 years, like I lived life for me. I never even held on to a girlfriend for more than a month. And it's cool to like, you win a few cool jobs, or you might see a cool girl for a few weeks or whatever. Like you see all these, but again, if you're just serving yourself, like what's the point? Like imagine if you had all the money, and I'm not saying I have all this money or anything, but imagine you accumulated all these earthly things, and then what? Like you don't have anyone to share it with. You don't get to take it into heaven anyway. So it's like, it kind of hit me when I came to Christ. I was like, it's not about me anymore. You know what I mean? And that's like another thing that I'm doing with this Netflix series. It's like, I get to involve like all my mates as much as I'm pulling in favors, like showing, like getting to like, if we get this Netflix deal, I'm saying to everyone, I'm like, boys, like we're going to be on Netflix. Like I'm going to get you a job. Like, so it's like, it's not about you anymore. And the more like, that's why they say like humility is like, it's not thinking about, it's not thinking less of yourself. It's about just thinking about yourself less. And I just find the most purpose and fulfillment in that, like serving my wife, raising my kid, praying for my mates all the time. Like, I run a men's group every Tuesday night. Like I put on these men's barbecues as well. And it's like,
they look mad. I've seen them.
Yeah. Oh, they're sick. I'll let you know next time, man. Like we literally get like 100 dudes like up on my rooftop here, like put on a mad, and again, like just put on like mad feast, like always pulled pork, like and have some good chats, but like get to share a little message of encouragement. And it's again, not networking. It's not like superficial. It's like just giving back to the boys and like, really letting everyone know that's, we're here. We're all got struggles. Like we've got struggles every week. There's always stuff. There's always crap happening, but just like get around each other, especially the boys, and just say, we got you. God's got you. How can we help? How can we serve?
For sure. I know. Getting back onto the showbiz life for a bit. How was Big Brother? Just we won't talk about it for too long, but
Big Brother's hectic. Would you boys ever do it, like something like that?
I would like if someone was like, go on a game show, you can choose anyone you on a game show, like a reality show, do whatever one you want. I would love to give Survivor a crack.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they say that's the most hectic.
Yeah, they have full lose weight, like full etch. So
eating ants and beans and whatever.
But I would love to give it a go just to see how long I could last.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd win because I don't think I could stab people in the back enough and get away with it. Like I feel like I'd start laughing midway through like a tribal ceremony or something. But so what was it like? Just like because like, no offense to the Big Brother team, but some parts as a viewer at home kind of look a little bit scripted. So I've
heard that before. It's actually not like they're in my season, because we had the season where everyone, like all the past housemates, like all the past winners and stuff came back. So they definitely know how to play the game.
Okay.
So there's probably that, but you don't get producers saying, hey, do this and that.
Yeah.
It's not like The Bachelorette. My mate was on The Bachelorette, and they come up to you in the garden and say, hey, he said this about you, go do something more. Why don't you go say to the chick this? Like, there's a lot of promptings and stuff like that. Okay. Even maths is disgusting. But Big Brother, it's like, it's legit. You just in a house, they've got 110 cameras. They just say, go for it. So there's that much like filming and recording that they'll find a storyline in it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, you can't drink, can you, though?
Nah, it's not like back in the day. It's like it's a family show now.
Yeah, could you imagine?
It'd get gross now.
It would get loose.
Yeah, it's a family. It's more about the games and competing and stuff.
Do you find it to be a hard industry to make, like close friends in? Like, do you have like a super close friend there who's, prominent in the industry, or do you find that most of your friends are, separate, completely separate life to what, you do and stuff?
Like from Big Brother,
or just in general, just like acting or media, DJ life.
Yeah, I got friends in all industries, like, and that's the thing. Like, especially when I became a Christian, like I never wanted to just hang out with Christians. Like, what's the point of that? Like, and I love hanging out with Christians because, mate, my mates from church are so encouraging. So like, how can we help? So how can we serve? I love that. But, we're not called to do that as Christians. We're told to like go out in the world, you know what I mean? So I love having friends in every, one of the industries, and especially like everything I'm learning from Christianity, I get to share with all my mates in Big Brother. Like no one knows this. Like it was never it was recorded, but it was never on air. We had prayer nights every night. We had all these guys, like, because I was struggling in there, just missing my wife. And one of the boys who's like an Assyrian Christian, Johnson, he's a legend. He comes up, he's like, "Hey bro, do you want to pray tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd love that." Like I didn't have my Bible, didn't have any of this. So I was like, "Love that." We prayed. The next night, this random yoga teacher comes in. He's like, "Hey guys, can I join you?" I was like, "Yeah, man." This little dweeb looks like Harry Potter. I'm like, "Come in, man. Let's pray." The next night we had a few girls. Like by the end of it, we had like 18 people before bed. We were praying for people's problems, praying for this, and man, some of the guys that don't know God or anything were like waking up and coming up to me in the kitchen like, "Bro, I just had the best sleep in my life. Like I was so peaceful." And I was like, "Yeah, why do you think?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Was that a cigarette?" I'm like, "No." So like just to like experience God in all these industries and get to share in all these different networks is the best.
Yeah, that's mad. I guess thank you so much for your time today.
All good.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, just what's next for Brenton?
Yeah.
Honestly, it is this show. We are going to see this show, and like I want to get you boys somehow part of the show. Like,
I will.
Mate, if we were filming a season 2, like get the boys in, like
we'd be there.
This is the opportunity I've been waiting for.
Because like, sure, we'll get you to interview the cast, but actually get you in the actual season.
Mate, time, location, preferably, Manly. It's a better area.
Yeah. Sure.
We travel.
No, we travel. I seriously, like,
that'd be fun.
I would. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would definitely do it.
Man, if you need just like extras doing weird stuff.
Play a tree in the background. You're my guy.
I'd make a pretty good rock.
Because I want to be like continuing to write it, hopefully direct it, but like I want to produce the whole thing. So I want to have as much say and creative control as I can. So like, again, I want to bring in like whomever to just create the best show ever. And because there's another challenge that people aren't talking about is trying to get Australian comedy cool again. Because Australians suck at comedy,
Dude.
Like
thank you for saying that. We need it, and we need it bad. Actually, I'm not going to say it. Keep going.
Like I love a good drama. Like they say within great comedy comes great drama. Like my series has a lot of drama and heartbreaks and stuff, but punchy, funny lines, stupid, silliness. Like, that's what I love, and that's what I want to bring to remember Chris Lilly stuff? Like,
and he got
it's back on binge.
But he got, like we can only have so much Dave Hughes. Like we need a bit of Chris Lilly and
seriously,
towing the line and.
I love doing that, pushing a few mates were like, "Ooh, should you have said that?" I'm like, "I don't know, I'm not convicted. Like, let's try."
Like the minor vapes.
The minor vapes is a bit naughty.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, no, Chris Lilly, that is like, Angry Boys is just different.
That was funny, man.
Well, my favorite
from Tonga, 100%.
Well, my favorite movie of all time is Tropic Thunder.
Oh, I love that. Just towing the line in there. I love that.
That's towing and kicking the line over. That offends every single group.
I love it.
So yeah, that's my favorite. But and I guess following on from Zach's question, 10 years time.
Yeah.
I know it's tough. What do you want? Where are you? Where would you like you come back and watch this and went, cool, I did it or kind of did it. Like goals change, but I guess in 10 years, where do you?
10 years, I want to have 3 kids. I want to have a girl in there as well.
Cute.
Still living in Cronulla, obviously.
California.
And just creating my own seasons. Like imagine if we had 5-6 seasons of Win the Morning, Win the Day. That's what the show's called, by the way.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had, a bunch of seasons on Netflix, had heaps of people involved, had like some big ass actors as well, like, doing appearances. Like, that'd be awesome. But I like a simple life. Like, I'm not too, I don't care too much on like holidays and I just love just living around here with my family, going to the beach and just doing what I love, which is like acting and serving, going to church. So
it's nice and humble. And then to finish us off, favorite cocktail?
A chili margarita.
Oh,
yeah. I don't drink too much, but chili. I love a margarita with a hint of spice.
So I'm a big margarita guy, but I'm a Tommy's.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
just a stand. I love a good Tommy's.
Yeah.
You could have obviously brought some over, but come in here, take my drinks, forget anything. It's all
thank
good.
you for that.
And we're not getting paid yet, so
One day we'll return. We'll be back.
yeah, we'll be back
sure.
with
Two
a big bottle of tequila.
Wow. I'll bring the cigars. Let's go.
Let's
Come
do
on.
it.
Well, Brenton, thank you again so much for having us.
Thanks,
it's been so much
boys.
fun.
I
And
love what you guys are doing.
shout out the socials, just so everyone can go check you out.
Just at Brenton Park. How many cameras? We've got about 9 cameras in my kitchen.
Just you choose.
Yeah, just at Brenton Parks on YouTube, at Brenton Parks Actor. That's where you'll see the series. So go check it out. It's
Win
very
the
funny.
morning, win the day.
Yeah,
Win
win
the
the morning,
morning,
win the
win the
day.
day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Flex, check, flex, check, flex, check. Diamonds in my veins.